Okay, this is a review lesson on slope. It is a topic that's going to come up now in our curriculum, but you've done it in 8th grade, you did it in 9th grade, so I think a good idea to save some time so we can do some of the harder stuff in class is to do this as a video lesson. So the do now question is, which line is steeper and why? A lot of kids say, okay, well, line A is obviously steeper than line B because, you know, that angle from the horizontal is steeper. But another way to look at it is the following. Let's say I start at this point, 0, 2. If I want to get to the next point on the blue line, I have to travel up 3 and over 1. As opposed to if I were doing it on the red line, I only have to travel up 1 over 1. Okay, so from blue line, I travel up 3 to the right 1. And the red line, we only travel up 1 and to the right 1. And so the blue line is steeper because for me to go 1 to the right, I'm going up 3 units as opposed to only 1 unit. Okay? And this concept is called slope. Oops. Okay? This concept is called slope. And people have different ways of saying this. Some people say, okay, slope is the rise divided by the run. Some people say it's the change in y over change in x. That little triangle is the delta symbol, and it means change in y over change in x. And the formula for slope is this. If I went ahead and said, okay, this point is 0, 2, and this point is 1, 5. If I wanted to figure out how much I was rising from 2 to 5, I would subtract. I would do 5 minus 2 divided by, the run would be, let me subtract my x's, 1 minus 0. So people formulate this into this formula, which you've seen before. Y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So let me explain. Y2 means that's the second y coordinate, or the y coordinate of the second point. Y1 is the y coordinate of the first point, etc. And I want to model this, okay? So if I'm going a little too fast right now, that's okay. So number 1 says find the slope of each line by counting. So you can count. You can say, okay, let's say for line A, I'm going up 3 over 1. So the slope would be 3 over 1, which equals number 3. For line B, I'm going up 1 over 1, which is just 1. Okay? Now, if we want to use the formula, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, the first thing I need to do is identify 2 points on the line. So line A, I already have 0, 2, and 1, 5. And if I want to use the formula, what's really important is that I label my points. This is the x, 0 is the x coordinate of the first point, so we call it x1. 2 is the y coordinate of the first point, so we call it y1. 1 is the x coordinate of the second point, so we call it x2. 5 is the y coordinate of the second point, so we call it y2. And now we can plug into our formula, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And we get y2, which is 5, minus y1, which is 2, over x2, which is 1, minus x1, which is 0. And this turns out to be 3 over 1, which is 3. Now for line B, you can pick any 2 points along the line that you want to. So for example, I could pick this point and this point. So this point here is 2, 4, and this point here is 4, 5. And the slope should be 1 over 1. It should be, whoops, I erased that up before. It should be 1 over 1 no matter what points we choose. So I want to choose those 2 points. I chose 2, 4 and 4, 5. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? That point is actually 4, 6. My bad. 4, whoopsie. That point is 4 comma 6. I glanced at it real quick. It's 4 comma 6. So again, I'm going to label my points. This is the x coordinate of the first point, so it's x1. The y coordinate of the first point, so this is y1. X coordinate of the second point, x2. Y coordinate of the second point, y2. And I'm going to dump these numbers into my formula. So y sub 2 is 6 minus 4 over x sub 2 is 4 minus x1 is 2. 6 minus 4 is 2. 4 minus 2 is 2. And lo and behold, 2 divided by 2 is 1. So it doesn't matter what points you choose along the line as long as they are actually points on the line. You're going to get the same slope. Okay, so drawing a picture of the line connecting each of the following points, and we're going to find the slope by counting and the formula. So negative 3 comma negative 2. Negative 3, negative 2 is right here. And 2, 8 is right here. So we draw the line. Okay, and we can count. So I want to go from this point to the one we have. Let's see, we're going to go up. By the way, when you do slope, it's like when the bell rings, okay? When the bell rings, you get up and then you walk out of the room. So we're going to go up first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I went up 10, and I'm going over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to divide by 5, and 10 divided by 5 is 2. Now we're going to use the formula. So I'm going to label my points x1, y1, x2, y2. The formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And y2 is 8 minus y1 is negative 2. So you got to be careful. This minus sign comes from the formula, and this negative is coming from the point. Divided by 2 minus negative 3. So 8 minus negative 2, that's 8 plus 2, which is 10. 2 minus negative 3 is positive 5. And 10 divided by 5 is 2. So we get the same answer either way. Whoops. All right, and number 4, we're doing the same thing. Negative 5, 6. And 3, negative 2. And I'm actually going to use the formula first this time. Doesn't matter. So I'm going to label my points x1, y1, x2, y2. And my formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And y2 is negative 2 minus y1, which is 6, divided by x2, which is 3, minus x1, which is negative 5. Negative 2 minus 6 is negative 8. And 3 minus negative 5 is 3 plus 5, which is 8. And a negative 8 divided by a positive 8 is negative 1. Well, that's interesting. We have a slope that's negative. So if we were to count it, I'm going to go from left to right. Start at this blue point. If we were to count, I'm going one. I can't go up. That's the whole point. So I'm going to go down first, because I either go up or down first. But let's see how I'm going down. I'm going down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I went down 8. If I'm going down, down is negative. And that's why, if you're counting this for the first time, if you're going down, we have to be negative. And you can see that from the formula. We get a negative 8 in the numerator. And now we're going over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going 8 in the positive direction, because to the right, bigger x's, that's positive, divided by 8, and we get the negative 1. So if you notice, if you take a look at the last two examples, okay, a positively sloped line, okay, positive slopes go up. They go up from left to right. Okay, negatively sloped lines go down from left to right. Okay. So the next exercise says to draw a picture of the line connecting each of the following points. It's asking to find the slope of the line connecting each of the following points by counting and the formula. I would like you guys to stop the video and do 5 and 6 right now. So I want you to pause the video and do 5 and 6 right now. Okay, I'm going to do 5 and 6. You should have done them on your own. Okay. -2, 5, and 4, 7. So -2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is right here. And 4, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is here. Okay. I want to do it by counting first. So I'm going up 2. And I'm going to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 divided by 6 can be reduced to 1 over 3. Okay. Now we use the formula. Formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we have x1, y1, x2, y2. And y2 is 7 minus y1, which is 5, over 4 minus -2. 7 minus 5 is 2. And 4 minus -2 is like 4 plus 2, which is 6. And that's 1/3. So they agree. And actually, I never drew the line, but there's the line. All right, so 1, 7, and 3, 1. I'm going to go to 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1. There's the line. And if I were counting, I'm going to start at the left. And I'm not going up, but I'm going down. So I'm going down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm doing a -6 because we're going down, divided by a +2, which is actually -3, which isn't surprising because the line is going down from left to right. And if we do a formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, we would get, I'll label my points, x1, y1, x2, y2. We do 1 minus 7 over 3 minus 1, which is -6 over 2, which is -3. So it works with our formula as well. Okay? And again, we have a positively sloped line. It's going up from left to right. And here we have a negatively sloped line, which we're going down from left to right. All right, our next one is the points 1, 5 and 7, 5. And if we were to count, we go up first. But if I want to go from this green point to the red point, I don't have to go up any units. So I would write 0 divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 0 divided by 8, think of it like this. If I had no money and I wanted to divide my giant fortune among 8 of my friends, they would not get any money. So 0 divided by 8 is 0. Okay? And I'm not even going to bother to use the formula for it. But I want you to understand something. This line is flat. Ms. Zal calls it a lazy line. Okay? It's called a horizontal line because if you think of the horizon is, if you watch the sunrise or the sunset, you're looking across. It's called the horizontal line, and it has 0 slope. And I'm outlining these two guys in the word 0 because if you look at the letter Z, if you write just the letter Z, these guys are flat. They're horizontal lines, and horizontal lines have 0 slope. All right, turning our attention to the next line. 2, 7, 2, 7, and 2, 1. So this time, if I want to get from, say, the blue point to the green point, I'm going down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm not going to the right any. So I'm doing -6 divided by, I'm not going to the right at all. So I'm doing divided by 0. If you type in -6 divided by 0 in your calculator, you will get no answer. You'll get an error. And we say that such a line has, this is undefined slope, okay, or no slope. So again, you can't divide by 0, so this line has no slope, or is undefined, okay? This line is called a vertical line, okay? Mizal calls it an excited line, you may remember from last year. Vertical lines have no slope. No slope and zero slope are different. So first of all, if you look at the lines in the letter N, they are vertical, okay? Or if you think of the U in undefined, if you kind of draw a little boxy like this, you get your vertical lines, okay? There is a big difference between having zero slope and having no slope. Here's the analogy. Is it the same thing if you have no grade on a test or a 0 on a test? Well, the answer is no. If you have no grade on a test, that means maybe you didn't take it, that kind of thing. If you have a 0 on a test, that means you took it and didn't get any points on it. And there's a big difference between the two situations. So positively sloped lines, okay, if you have a positive number, you're going up from left to right. So let's just summarize here. You're going up from left to right. Negatively sloped lines, you're going down from left to right. Zero slope, or a horizontal line, you're not going anywhere, you're lazy. And vertical lines have undefined slope, you're going straight up and down. And those are our 4 scenarios that you have. So your homework tonight, or your homework is to finish this. So you're deciding whether the following lines have a positive slope, negative slope, 0, or undefined slope. You don't even have to do any calculations for this section. And then you're doing questions 1 through 4. And again, this is all stuff that you did last year, so I hope that this served as a good review and not as a first-time lesson. And we're going to go over these tomorrow, and then we're on to doing the equations of lines once we understand slope.